All right, time now is 7:38 a.m. in the morning on April 27th. Woo. So yeah, April 27th. Is there something special with this day? I really forgot. Today's supposed to be deadline for paperwork film 33, but we're not making it. So I slept from 3:20 to 7:15. So that's less than 4 hours, and that's fucked up. And given that I also slept very little in the last 3 days in a row, yeah, I'm actually kind of fucked. Actually 4 days in a row, including Sunday. So I'm actually fucked right now. I can't wait to go back to sleep tonight. I really can't. So that's that. So today I'm doing film 33, and then that's it. I'm also going to skip script writing club meeting and go back home early. Hopefully I'll see Leslie again today because she's awesome. You know the way she wears her short sleeved shirt. She's just like so not girly, and I really like that quality about her. I forgot to mention a couple of things. So yesterday, after Carly got her UCLA admission, she told me, and Tova was there. She said, it would be very cute if I went to UCLA and you went to USC. And I'm like, yeah. And she said, yeah, I'm sure USC will admit you. You're a very, the more I know you, the more about you there's to discover. You're a pretty interesting person, and I'm really flattered by this comment. I'm like, me? Interesting? Really? And Tova's like, yeah, you're interesting. And Tova said, the first time I met you, you're like, ooh, okay. Like, this guy, okay. But turns out, you're interesting. And Carly said, yeah, you're really quiet and reserved, but then I look at your Instagram and I see that you're actually doing your own shit. And I was actually surprised. I look like shit. I look like an idiot and talk like an idiot. And Carly's like complimenting me. So absolute insanity. But yeah, people think I'm interesting. So that's that. Carly barely knows me. If she knows like 10% of the way I think, she would think I'm insane. So that's that. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, does Leslie think I'm interesting? Because I reveal a little more to Leslie. I reveal just a tiny, teeny bit more to her. Yeah, essentially, there's that. And then something else also happened, but I actually forgot. Yeah, at least I'll be seeing Leslie tomorrow for sure, and then on Saturday again. I'll be seeing her 4 days in a row, because why the fuck not, right? Yeah, that's that. Good luck to me. Yeah, I just remembered. I dropped my phone on the ground. NJ, the South Asian American girl who was gonna be the sound mixer, showed up and said she's taking Professor Antonio's scriptwriting class. Actually, another girl said that. But NJ is also going to the same class. Another girl said that. I got excited because Antonio, and I started dancing and my phone dropped out of my pocket. That's what happened. That sucks. What the fuck is this place? Oh, it's like a supermarket. Where do I get lunch?
Can I do make my own tri-tip sandwich, please?
Situations, bigger is better.
So that's $57,000 if you do 1,000.
All right, time now is 8:30. I'm gonna talk a little right now, and then I'm gonna have dinner, and then I'm gonna continue talking. But yeah, huge day. Slept for less than 4 hours. Arrived like half an hour late, but who cares? I'm the location manager. Like I don't even like need to be on set. Not really half an hour late. Call time is 9, but we're just recommended to show up at 8. I arrived at 8:30. Simon's there super early. Simon was there since like 7:40 apparently, and I felt a little bad because like it's a PA I got. I wrangled this PA. But he's adjusting. He's already making friends, and he's working a little bit here, a little there, a little group work, a little artwork, little this, little that, you know. And then Tova showed up. Benny didn't show up until like an hour into the filming, but it's not his fault. His mom wanted him to do something, help out with something with his sister or something. I don't know. But yeah, so today so far that's that. Um, I thought Leslie won't show up, and of course she did show up, and I looked like absolute shit. So that's great. But I'm so happy seeing her. Like when I saw her and she passed by me, it's like, oh, fuck. She like tapped me on the shoulder, and immediately walked away before I could even like react or something. So that's really nice. I like it when girls get physical with me before I could even get physical with them because I never get physical with anyone. So I really enjoy that. I really freaking enjoy that. Um, but yeah, essentially there's that. So again, a good chunk of today, from like 8:30 till like 11:15, I was basically walking around in the soundstage, just witnessing everything happening, walking around without a purpose, joking around, dicking around, whatever. And then I walked around mainly to talk about locations because it's one extremely frustrating mess for me right now. You know, talking to Red about the location, talking to Sidlali, talking to Bergen, talking to Zach, talking to blah, 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 talking to everyone about locations. 11:15, we got a lunch break. I wanted to go with Jonathan and Tyler because they always go to a nice restaurant to get food, like actual real food, and not the microwave shit in the cafe. But they're still doing camera stuff, but we're already on a break. So I have no idea what to do. Thomas already brought food himself, so I thought, you know what, fuck it. So I ran to Liam and Ava and Trinity and Jaden, the Trinity gang. And Theo's there too, and Simon, the PA, he's with them too. And Jaden was like, come join in. And I'm like, okay. So me with my big ass backpack with my laptop inside, just joined them, and we went to Bristol Farms, which is a place I've never been to in my whole life, and we got a sandwich. Everyone got a sandwich. I got a Cubano sandwich, and with that, peach tea, a sweet peach tea, which is not very sweet, but just the right amount of sweetness. It's really refreshing. We came back, and I continued to eat, and we had like 7 minutes, but I continued to eat further. So I was holding half a sandwich in a box and a green tea with my greasy ass fingers, running up and down the CMD building because at the same time Thomas and Liam and Benny are planning to get a room, like get an editing room upstairs and do production stuff, do producing stuff. So I was really awkward. At the end I spent a good chunk of time in the cafe just sitting down and finishing up the food. And I saw Udav, the Indian guy. He was wearing this traditional Indian clothing, which is really funny. But that's that. Also, we talked about Beau is Afraid a lot because I love that movie. And I wanted to avoid arguing with the Trinity gang. Like, who the fuck's want to argue with them? But Jaden saw my Instagram story and said, oh, you liked it, right? I think it's fucking garbage. I think it's 3 hours waste of money. It's waste of money. It's waste of time. It's, like, terrible. And both Jaden and Liam think it's garbage. And Thomas also saw it, and Thomas said it's one of the worst movies he's seen. There's no plot. What the fuck? He's so square and textbook. I like movies that have no plot. Like, having a plot isn't necessary. So I told Thomas that, and Thomas was like, no. But thank God I'm not the only one. Simon, he's seen Beau is Afraid, and he freaking loved it. It's the only film he's seen this year, and he freaking loved it. And we were vibing. And that's great, because usually at the end of film 2, like, Simon, this tall guy, Tyler, and I would chat about art house films, Kurosawa, Bergman. So we're on that art house wavelength, you know. People just don't understand this, but I'm glad someone's there to vouch for me. But today for the most part is really chill. Which is not supposed to be the case because I'm simultaneously really stressed, simultaneously really chilled. I made a phone call. So Benny, like, he's trying to steal my job. He's trying to steal my job, and I don't put the blame on him because I know Benny's just trying to work hard and get everything right and under control. But Benny's doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So Benny called Film LA and asked what to do with Montana Avenue and Farmers Market. I already did all that work. I called Film LA. I have a contact there. I know who to contact. I've written emails already. I'm doing all that shit. And he's now looking at old LA Zoo and looking at Griffith Park to be rural Mexico location. I'm already looking at Blue Cloud and Diamond V Movie Ranch. So I immediately called Diamond V Movie Ranch, told them where I'm from, how is it. It's not even like annoying for me to make phone calls. It's just I pick it up and I know exactly what to say and I just keep doing it. And then turns out there's going to be a location scout session this Sunday, and Professor Cuchillo himself will fucking show up. And that's crazy because literally earlier in the morning, I told the founder of HKOS that I'm coming this Sunday to help out with the film festival. So what the fuck's going on? So yeah, I really don't know. I guess we'll go in early in the morning because Cuchillo will be not free late in Sunday afternoon because his wife will be some head orchestral member performing at the Broad in downtown LA at 4 p.m. And Red has to go to Manhattan Beach for his job at 12:30. So we might as well have this location scouting really early on Sunday morning. That's fine by me. I hate waking up early, but you know what? For this class. So there's that. And then I spoke with Leslie quite a bit. I'm so happy she's here, and she with her short sleeve shirt, like she just looks really like tough. She looks like a really tough person. And then meanwhile I act all cute, like I have my sleeve of my hands in my sleeves, and I dress up funny and goofy, you know. But I feel like I and Leslie really have a real nice connection there. Like Leslie was sitting outside of the storage room on a chair, just chilling. Bang chilling, haha. And so cool, like a little guardian spirit, you know. And people are just talking to her or whatever. And I think Birkin was there. Somebody else was there, but I think Birkin and Liana was there witnessing it. But Leslie told me that the other girl who's going to be an actress in her scene in Film 32 speaks fluent Cantonese, allegedly. I don't know how fluent that fucking is. Maybe it's a lie. But that's already great news. And I was like, great. So that's great. So I don't need to help her look for actors anymore, as much as I would like to help. But that's a great thing. So now it's one Mandarin, one Cantonese. And I asked Leslie, like, so when are we going to talk about the script, you know? Because I want to just hang out with her. And she said, oh no, I'm going to have a production meeting with Cuchillo tomorrow, so hope that goes well, and then we'll talk about script. And I'm like, okay. So that's that. But I grabbed this gigantic ruler and I started pointing at people like it's a giant sword, and it was so much fun. And I started going ping 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 chang 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 ching ching ching, and I like pointed at people, and like I gave it to Leslie, and Leslie grabbed the other end, and then we started shaking the ruler, and Leslie's like, yeah, ruler handshake. It's so goofy. And then earlier today I had like a C-47 clip or wooden clip clipped to my shirt, and then I gave one to Leslie, and that's it. Like she never gave it back to me. When we were in Bristol Farms, I forgot who it was. I think it was Jaden. Oh no, it's Simon. He also stole 2 C-47s and also gave them to me, and I clipped it all onto my shirt. And it's been stuck like that the whole time. Like even when I had the Cubano sandwich, which is pretty nice, but so greasy, so freaking greasy. I'm glad I got tea and not the iced coffee, which is like $3, and the orange juice is like $5 in Bristol Farms. That's ridiculous. It's just a fucking bottle of orange juice. $5? Are you insane? And my peach tea was $3. So yeah. Anyways, dinner time. Alright, time now is 12:35. Let's continue the talk. I finished my dinner, which was marinated pork chops, Caesar salad kit, and some ravioli. Anyways, let's continue. So apparently, Liam, I know I can't trust the dude. I mean, he's chill in front of me, but I know I can't trust the fucking guy. I showed him the Theo meme, and he showed it to Theo, and that's terrible. Theo's a fucking snake. And so Theo saw it, and I was legit concerned for a moment. Like, I thought, oh my god, I'm actually in danger. So I guess the best way to do it is to literally just walk up to Theo and say, I'm sorry, I made a meme of you. So yeah, Theo, like, actually choked me. And of course, in a joking way, like, not actual choking, but he grabbed me by the shoulder and started shaking me and, like, doing this. And I was like, bro, don't be mad, I made a meme of you. And he's like, no, it's funny, I like it. Like, where did you even find that photo? And I'm like, in your Instagram story. And he's like, oh. I don't know, something's going on. I feel like Theo low-key hates me, but I don't really know. Um, that's that. But I'm not that worried about that actually, because like, what the fuck will Theo do to me anyways? Another thing is because Liam and Tova and Bree argued, Tova wanted to apologize to Liam, so Tova actually wrote a whole apology letter on her notebook and walked up to Liam and said, "Hey Liam, hold on." And then she started reading off of her notebook. So I want to say it's so cringe and it's kind of awkward, and it's like such a childish thing. And apologizing is great, but do it in a way smoother way. You know, hey Liam, I mean about last Monday. I'm sorry. Like that instead of just reading off of a freaking book, like a declaration or something. It's so funny. But yeah, what else happened? We were looking at memes, like Liam, Jaden, me, Thomas. We were in the editing room and we were just looking at memes because we had nothing better to do, I guess. And their sense of humor is fine and all, but my sense of humor is fucked. So I showed them 21st century humor memes. I showed them which scream is real, and it's like Connor. I forgot the name of the guy. But the guy, and he's like and it's like raw, and it's so fucking funny, and I laughed super hard. And they think I'm insane, basically. And they also find it funny, but they're like, man, Enoch's sense of humor is even more fucked. Like their sense of humor is like, YTP, Michael Rosen, which is funny, but like my sense of humor is just completely deep fried, post ironic. I showed them the humor and they just laughed so hard. um, and then a little later, they showed it to Trinity and Ava, and they also found it funny because they're younger than me, right? But it's just so funny. Also, right off the bat in the beginning of the class, Cuccio announced that Carly got into UCLA and also Red. And for a moment, I was like, oh my god, two people? Red? Him? Turns out Red got into UCLA not for film, but for English, as an English major, so that's funny. And also, apparently, Liam, Trinity, and Jaden got into UC Berkeley, which is absolutely insane, and Ava didn't. Ava didn't even apply to Berkeley. But for some fucking reason, Ava got an interview for USC as well. What? So this got me worried, because I thought me being interviewed is like me, I'm special, like my portfolio is just that good. But now that Ava's also interviewed, this means that I feel like a lot of people are interviewed. I don't know about Ava, but from what I can tell about her like she probably like her essays probably suck. Like I assume from the way she reviews films on her Instagram, on her review page on Instagram, her essays probably suck. Her story ideas probably suck ass. How the fuck did she get an interview? So I don't know, maybe, so that actually made me more worried. Like, oh, what if you don't have to be that great to be interviewed? So now I'm scared. But I'm sure when Ava did the interview, she probably had an attitude, and I hope she doesn't, if she gets in, great, but like, I hope I have a higher chance than her, is all. So now I'm a little scared. So that's that. Another thing is, about what's another thing? Let me keep thinking. The AS meeting that's happening today, Associated Students. So the Associated Students is basically the government body of the college, but it's made up of students. And Betsy is gonna help get $21,000 for this project for ends and means. And of course with the help of Birkin, the producer. And so they had this meeting near the end of the class, and they were in the green room, which is the little storage room beside the soundstage, and I went in and out a little bit, maybe twice, maybe thrice, just to go around, whatever. And I have no idea what they're doing, so that's that. And I swear to God, the meeting went on for about 2.5 hours, and all they talked about was caps and gowns, about the graduation party, graduation dinner, or some shit like that, which was so silly. And I thought AS is made up of a bunch of idiots who approve like literally anything and everything. Turns out they're the opposite of that. They're extremely uptight. I'm going to talk more about that later. At the very end of the class at 4 p.m. So today, supposedly at 10 p.m., Professor Antonio will come in and we'll have a production meeting at the soundstage, but he pushed that to 4 p.m. So at 4 p.m., he came into the soundstage and we had a production meeting where it's essentially Zach and Birkin doing a little speech at first, and then Kuchio was like, whoa, wait a moment. Let's get organized. Let's talk about one thing at a time. So first of all, locations. And then Benny went out and they started talking. I'm the fucking location manager. First of all, I already got kicked off as UPM. Fine, I'll accept it. But now they're stealing my job too. So I'm like, what, should I go out? I look at Tova, and Tova's like, yeah, Enoch, go out. And Bree's like, yeah. And then Benny heard it, and Benny's like, oh, okay. And so I walked out. So, hey, you know. And then, so now the stage is given to me, and almost the whole class is just looking at me. And I actually, like, legit, for real, with my laptop and my phone and whatever, I actually started listing the locations. So we got 7 locations, blah, 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 blah. And we started talking. And Benny was like my presentation partner, and he would add stuff, which is totally cool. But there are a few points into the presentation where it seems like he's taking the spotlight. He's talking out loud. He's saying, okay, so for rural Mexico. And I just thought to myself, bro, I should be the one who's speaking. I'm not mad at him, and I know he's just trying to put everything under control, but he's stealing my fucking job. And I can tell that some other people can also tell. So I literally asked Benny, like, can I talk this one? Can I talk about this one? And he's like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, and then I continued to talk. And before we could even finish talking about the locations, Antonio was like, you guys get out. I have a Film 31 class here. So we didn't even get to the catering. We didn't even get to the fundraising. We didn't even get to budgeting. We didn't get to anything. That's it. That's a failure. And we should dedicate a whole class for production meeting because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, essentially there's that. But I did really well in the presentation. Like, I know what I'm talking. Like, I speak really fast, which means that people would think I'm professional. But also, I remember the addresses. Like, people ask me, oh, where is that house? And I literally gave an exact address with the numbers. My little autistic side is showing, you know. And people would be impressed, like, ooh. And Benny was like, oh, yeah, he's the location manager. He knows, you know. And I also said I'll be setting out Google Forms for, like, carpool and, like, where do you live, whatever. So that's that. Also, a couple moments, Connor the Machinist showed up and spoke to me at CMD. And I find it cool because every time Connor shows up and I speak in Cantonese, other people will also get to hear me speak in my native language, which is so freaking fancy. Such a show off, you know. But yeah, that happened a couple times. And then, yeah, it's crazy how many connections I have. I'm already really connected with a Wednesday and Friday class. Even freaking Film 31. The last chunk of Film 31, they got Elin the Malaysian. This chunk, they got Connor, the Machinese. I just keep knowing people for some fucking reason. It's so funny. So it's pretty wild. So all that happened. And we talked about company moves. We talked about how, because 5 days we're gonna be in a big house, probably in Encino, and then The other 3 shooting days, it's 2 locations per day, which means a lot of company moves. The moment Kuchiu heard that, he said, it's impossible. Because you're spending like 2 hours unpacking, breaking down, 1 hour loading the truck, a whole hour of driving, a whole hour of parking, a whole hour of unloading the truck, and lunch. It's like you basically spend the entire day doing company moves. It's stupid. Like, it's impossible. And with a class this big, it's impossible. And then what the hell should I do? We have 7 filming locations and only 8 shooting days. So, yeah, we're absolutely screwed. And so Benny, me, and I will be planning to have a meeting with Professor Antonio and Cuccio at some point to literally talk about this and really plan it out. So that's that. Yeah, another thing was at some point the camcorder was gone. At some point Tova's camcorder went missing and Jonathan's supposed to have it. Or no, it was Jonathan's camcorder because it has like Coachella footage in it, and Tova used it, and then people started freaking out, and he just tried to help out. Like me, I carried my laptop on me like a child, and I started asking Tova, "Where did you last see it?" And Tova's like, "Oh, I gave it to Jonathan." And then I went to Jonathan. Okay, Jonathan, where did you last see it? And he's like, "Oh, I put it in my car, and I gave Tova my car keys, so Tova should have it." And then turns out at some point they found it. Apparently, it's on the ground outside, on the way between the parking lot and the classroom and the building doors. Like, it's dropped onto the ground. Also, right after lunch, I actually saw Michelle and spoke to her, and she is very in an emotional low. She was really upset about getting rejected from UCLA. On me, on the other hand, I'm not upset at all. I saw it coming a mile away, but he was really upset, and I was just quiet and I listened. I don't know how to react. I'm not really good at acting empathetic. I am very empathetic, but I'm not good at acting it, you know. But I ended up giving her a hug because she needs one. She sort of asked for it, and she's like, "Do you want a hug?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we hugged. Because she needs a hug, but that's that. But anyways, the AS meeting went absolutely horrible. Apparently, they fucked it up. So at the very end, me, Benny, Birkin, Zach, Liana, Sidlali, Skylar, Tova were out there at the round table outside the building with Cuccio, and basically Cuccio said, "So you guys didn't get the money?" And Birkin's like, "No." Benny came in, and Benny was like, "Oh, we screwed up." And I was like, what happened? And I was shocked. I thought it's going to be easy to get money from the AS. Turns out it's the opposite of easy. Turns out it's extremely difficult. And turns out Birkin messed up. Birkin and Benny messed up, and they went to the wrong agenda or something. And that's pretty crazy. So anyways, I went back to the soundstage, and it was just me, Jonathan, and Leslie, and of course I'm not gonna let Leslie alone with another guy, you know. So I joined in, and I don't know, I feel such a closeness with her. Yeah, I feel such a closeness with her, and at some point I wore my sunglasses and my like actual glasses together, stacked them up, whatever. And Leslie laughed at me, and she said, "Los Angeles is full of crazy, and you're one of them." And I know it's kind of half joking, but I'm flattered. I'm so if Leslie calls you crazy, then you're really fucking crazy, you know? Like, and I said, "You too," and she's like, "Yeah." Which is such a cool moment too. Like 2 crazy people, just, oh man, she's just so good. But yeah, you know, we talked about, what did we even talk about? At some point, Jonathan showed off Coachella footage and like music he listens to. He listens to a little bit of Vocaloid, and Leslie got interested, and then I showed off my Hong Kong music playlist. Yeah, it was really, really nice. And being around Leslie just gives me such a warmth. And again, I feel like maybe I'm taking it for granted, because if it's Mary, I would fall to my knees and cry. Even if she's even in my vicinity, but like, I just feel so blessed. That's that. And then, lo and behold, Scrub Writing Club meeting. Honestly, it went extremely well. Went extremely freaking well. I sat down, and everyone actually had a great time. I had a great time. We actually talked. We had a community thing going on, and we read one of the scripts. It's not that bad. It's not that great either, but we had a lot to talk about it. And that's really cool. And then the meeting ended at around 7:40, and Michelle texted me a bunch during the meeting, and I actually texted her during the meeting as well. Turns out, Betsy is extremely mad. Not extremely, but at least upset and disappointed of me and Thomas. And I'm like, what the fuck, me? What did I do? So the film 33 lost money, and it's my fucking fault. I'm the location manager. I'm not involved in this. So Betsy's basically mad at people for no reason. And turns out, Betsy also expected Script Writing Club to be part of this. I was never told that I'm going to be part of this. Betsy told Michelle that she walked me and Thomas through this, and I do not recall that at all. Maybe Betsy mentioned this to me. Maybe Betsy texted me and Thomas a little bit about this, but Betsy never walked us through the process of this. I have no idea the Script Writing Club would be involved in this AS meeting at all. So yeah, but turns out we fucked up so hard. Birkin is so unprepared that 10 minutes into his presentation, everyone voted him out. Everyone voted no to him. Alcy, the guy who wrote the script, also needed to ask AS for money to fund his trip to Cannes Film Festival. And I spoke to Alcy a little bit with Birkin and Liana at the side today, and I asked him if he's gonna watch the films and the Scorsese's new film, and he's like, "Fuck, it's 4 hours, but yeah, I'll try my best to watch it." It's funny. Anyways, back to the AS meeting. Alcy fucked up. Alcy spent quite some time arguing, but Alcy made some miscalculations. They fact checked him, and he fucked up, and he got denied the money. AS will provide $4,000, but the other $12,000, he will have to ask for the film department head, and not AS. So they basically fucking denied Alcy. Even Alcy got denied. Holy shit. It's so ridiculous. And Michelle was in the meeting. Kat was in the meeting. And I'm sure they were trying to help the best, but holy cow. And Kamiko, the legendary black girl, she probably ruined it all for us. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, essentially there's that. What else happened today? Yeah, so that's basically the whole thing. Came back home, had dinner. Basically, called Michelle again for about 1.5 hours, and we had a very interesting conversation. Michelle started asking me these hypothetical questions about, okay, what if Leslie randomly walked up to you, grabbed you by the collar, and kissed you? She literally said that. And I was like, I don't know, I would probably cry and then not talk for 3 hours, which is a very dramatic response, but that's probably something I would do. And then she asked me something sexual suddenly about Leslie, which is kind of weird, but I also answered seriously. And I think that's great, actually. I've never really talked about sex all that much. And the fact that I can talk about it so comfortably with another girl in USA is pretty fire. It's pretty great. But yeah, Michelle spoke to a CMD counselor, and the counselor really cleared things up for her. So she's not feeling as emotionally distressed now. She thinks Long Beach has some great courses, and you get to be practical in Cal State, as opposed to in a UC where you don't get to do much, but you can only go to lectures. But yeah, I also told people to not tell anyone about my USC interview. I haven't told Carly that, but I told Tova that. I told Tova not to tell anyone. I told Thomas not to tell anyone. I told Leslie not to tell anyone. I told Leslie that she told Crystal, and Leslie's like, "Oh, sorry," and I'm like, "No, it's okay. Like, Crystal's someone I trust, but just keep it quiet. Like until I actually do get in, then I'll tell people. But now no. And actually, even if I get in, I won't immediately tell the whole world. I'll wait. I'll wait a couple days. It's sort of like Queen Elizabeth's death, where you get different days, like day 1, and only a small crop of people know. Day 2, more people know, and then at some point you release it to the press. That's what's gonna happen. Similarly, if I do have a girlfriend, I won't say it. I won't tell it to anyone. First line of order will be this, and then maybe I'll start telling people, but I won't immediately announce it to the whole world. I'll be very secretive about it. But yeah, at some point in the phone call with Michelle, she asked me, because I told Michelle I like how aggressive Leslie is. And Michelle asked me, I know this is going to sound really weird, but have you ever thought that you wanted to try some like submissive dominant stuff? And he said it like it's some crazy thing, but honestly, I've thought of it. And I told her, well, duh, of course. And she's shocked. She's surprised that I so bluntly and honestly admitted this. And that's true. I am not a dominant male at all. I'm a submissive, breedable boy. But in all seriousness, I like being the weak one. It feels nice. It feels fucking awesome. Okay. And Michelle also told me that part of the reason why he has all these crushes on all these men, like Robin and Tyler, Diego, and aside from Diego, Harrison, Cliff, is because they also have a feminine side, and Michelle really likes that, and she really respects me for being able to comfortably admit that I like I'm inclined to be dominated as well. Which is really cool. I legit think that, oh yeah, I and Leslie fist bumped and I'm like, wow, your hands are cold. And she's like, oh, I just washed my hands. Like, usually my hands are cold. But yeah, I just, I feel really good with her. I don't know if I have a chance or not. I still think she will deny me. She will probably get really weirded out. I really need to get even closer to her. I really need to get really personal to her and really show my deep dark side, and she show her deep dark side to me, and then maybe we can move forward. I'm gonna play it really safe. Also, Michelle said I wear a mask in front of people, and the reason why she liked Cliff and Tyler is because both of them also don't really wear masks, even though they're really quiet and reserved. But if you speak to them, you see their real selves. But she said, I do wear a mask, which is such a fucking good compliment. Like, ooh, I'm layered, But I wear a mask not because I'm evil, but because it's a survival mechanism. And I'm like, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, essentially there's that. I just feel really good with Leslie. I just feel so fucking good. I don't know how to move forward with this. The thing is, it's like Mary all over again, because I'm now in the last semester of this college, and I don't know how many months I have left. And then at some point I won't see her ever again. Hopefully that's not the case, but I'll have to tell her, like, there's a ticking clock again. Like, for Mary, the ticking clock is like, I had like a whole year to confess to her, but I was never able to do that. And then now there's Leslie, and I'm thinking mid-May would be the best time, or like early May, like a couple weeks later. I just feel like we need to get close enough first. Fuck, I don't know. And I feel like if I confess her so late, like June, it's gonna be like, why even bother? You're leaving in 2 days, But, yeah, let's see how it goes. I don't think she likes me, but I think she enjoys my company more than with other men, I think. which is a very bold statement, but I think she just has a closeness to me, which is so nice. And I like that she called me crazy. What a great compliment. All right, time now is 11:30 a.m. in the morning on April 28th. The air vent is on magically again. So, I had a good sleep. I had a good ass sleep. I slept from 2:30 to 11, basically, which is fucking awesome. I think that is 8.5 hours. Actually, that's not that fucking awesome. But it's great. I woke up at around like maybe 7 or something, and I thought I had to wake up, and then I realized, oh shit, it's a Friday. I don't have to wake up. So, the plan for today is, okay, last night I ran out of time again. I watched half an episode of Vinland Saga, and I almost fell asleep. I'm just so tired. So, the thing is, I need to finish Vinland Saga before this month ends, and I have 13 episodes left. So the plan is today I'm gonna watch 9 episodes. Tomorrow morning I'll watch 4 episodes. And I'll review the anime tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, which is wild. So either today or tomorrow, I need to go to Nijio Market to buy food. I think it's gonna happen tomorrow, but either way, I think the plan of today is I'm going to watch 4 episodes of Vinland Saga, like right now. I'm gonna review an album, and then as soon as possible, I'll head out and I'll go to CMD again to visit Friday Film 32. And then yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it for today, and then I'll just return home, and that's it. Miles will give me a Discord call with Kat, and I think when that happens, I'll be still at CMD, so I'll be walking around with a phone in my hand like an idiot. But that's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I still need to edit my short film. I still need to edit my Japan vlog. There's so much to freaking edit. But I did edit my college video, so at least there's that. But yeah, I'm really running out of time. Birkin texted me last night asking me if there will be a location scout on Saturday. I said no. But there will be a location scout on Sunday morning, so that's that. Also, I will reach out to a CMD counselor because Michelle told me that I should do it, which is very true given that I'm in a very critical condition of being rejected by UCLA. I don't know if I'll be rejected by USC or not sure yet. I need to appeal. I don't know why, but I'm feeling positive, and I legit think I have a chance at USC. But I legit think I have a chance, given that they interviewed me, given all that. But I would still like to appeal against UCLA, just because at the end of the day, I want UCLA more so than USC. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Right off the bat this morning, I checked my phone. Leslie sent me a text message. Oh boy. I just really like her. God damn. And she asked me if I could be script supervisor. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. She said, please say yes, and I'm like, okay. And I'll do anything. So yeah. But I just really want to sit down with her and just ask her questions. Like I'm just gonna ask her, like, I have some questions, not about the script, but about you. And she's gonna be like, me? Okay. And then I'm gonna start asking her like very basic questions, like what's your ultimate goal in this industry? And like what kind of movies do you wanna make? And stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel like I don't know her well enough. Like let's get through the basic shit first. And then, we'll get personal, okay? And then we'll get personal. And then I'll start showing her photos of my food. And I'll start telling her the origins of the detective. and how fucked up my secondary school life is. I'll talk to her about romance. I feel like one of the biggest benchmarks in a relationship is when you're comfortable enough to talk about romance, then, like, you've reached a point. If you're comfortable enough to talk about sex, you've reached another point. But yeah, Leslie tapping me on the shoulder yesterday, and like I'm just like thinking in her POV, like, oh, there's a guy, I know him. I'm just gonna tap him on the shoulder and immediately walk away. And you can't do that to any random guys, because it would be like they would either take it weird or they would be confused. Like, you have to have a kind of a trust, kind of a rapport. I don't know, I love that fucking word. With this guy in order to do that. She tapped me on my right shoulder. Like, I'm so fucking successful now. Throw back the time I went to Asakusa, to the shrine, and I got like lucky, and I said, oh, I'm getting a girlfriend in 2023. Please be true. Please be true. I'm so into her. It's not even funny at this point. I think more than a month has gone by since I started to have feelings with her. Oh, Leslie's testing me again.
Professor? Because we're getting the hotspot from the. Okay. Was that there?
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it that you think you see? Yeah, you really don't know who you're talking to. Let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Scholar. I am the danger. Acá yo pensé que ya me perdido. I am the one who knocks.
ATION. Alright, time now is 7:54 p.m. Yeah, so, let's talk about today a little bit. I haven't had dinner yet, I just came back home like 5 minutes ago. And I need to talk about something. I really need to talk about something. So I actually left my apartment really late, because I had so much to do. I watched 3 whole episodes of Vinland Saga. 3, but it felt like forever. And then I filmed an album review, and I ate lunch with some dumplings and choy some. My morning was bagel with sour cream and with a cup of hot chocolate. Really nice breakfast, by the way. Really nice. Like, this is definitely one of those breakfasts where, you're not poor and you're not struggling and you're actually living a nice life type of breakfast. I'd say this is like an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed this breakfast a lot. But anyways, I digress. At around 2:40 something, I took a bus, and bus number 1 immediately showed up. Arrived at CMD at around maybe 3 o'clock ish. And the doors were shut tight, and I thought they were in the middle of a take. But I put my ear against the door, and I realized there's noise in it. So turns out they're not in the take. So I sneaked in, and it was nice. It was, all the people I know, most of the people I know, like, just went in and saw Cliff, saw Justin, saw Javier, saw Lauren, saw Miles, saw Diego, Harrison, the golden retriever showed up. Friggin', yeah, everyone I know, Professor Antonio, Drew, Leslie was there as well, of course. And so I zoomed around and talked to people, and I witnessed it, and it was definitely less chaotic than last Friday. I would say it's still very disorganized, and there are a lot of pissed people, but at the same time, there's also a lot of teamwork, a lot of goodness going on. Marco wasn't that bad. I thought he would be very toxic. Turns out he's not. So that's that. Anyways, the class finishes, and I really don't know what to do. Apparently they had pizza. The producer, who was a black woman with a crutch, she basically gave a speech and said good job to everyone, and it's like she just won an Oscar, and she started like thanking people, and we started clapping. It's pretty wild. Um, and then yeah, then somebody brought pizza. We broke down the set. I started walking around asking people if they want a PA, getting their emails, whatever. Um, yeah, so that's that. Um, and then somebody brought pizza here, so I went out there and I actually got myself a slice of mushroom arugula pizza, which other types of pizza like cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza, they're all hoarded, they're all gone. So I got myself a slice and I ate it, and that's it. Thank God I brought myself a water bottle. Leslie didn't eat it because she's busy breaking down the set and whatever. And Miles at the same time planned to have a call with me and Kat and the DP, because we need to talk about a short film. And since we're in person now, so might as well be with Miles at the same time. Also, Miles had a haircut. You know, she looks different. But anyways, yeah. Turns out Miles ate rice that's cooked in milk because he was at a Mexican restaurant and he's lactose intolerant. So he has stomach aches and he needs to immediately go back home. So he went back home, and this means that I and Leslie can do our thing, because I and Leslie were going to do some translations and fix the script a little bit together in CMD right after this film 32. And then Miles was also going to speak to me, and Miles told me that at 6 p.m. he's going to call from home, and he did call on Discord, but as it turns out, luckily Kat didn't show up. Kat's not picking up the phone, which means that the meeting can't go. So I told Miles, okay, maybe tomorrow. Let's call tomorrow. And Miles was like, sure. So 3 minutes later, call ended, and I can continue with Leslie. So yeah, at some point Leslie yelled out my name, Enoch, and it was just a fuck. Like, I love it when the people I love yell out my name. Like it's like that time Mary yelled out my name to tell me to impersonate Idris again. Back in Form 4, it was kind of like that. Yeah. So I and Leslie, we went upstairs, and she had her MacBook, laptop, and some script, but she doesn't have a physical copy of the script. It's nowhere to be found. Also, apparently this morning, Leslie and Professor Cruccio had a production meeting. Cruccio didn't read the script at all, by the way, but Leslie mentioned to Cruccio that the scene will be in Cantonese and Mandarin, and Cruccio's like, "Oh, who's the script supervisor? Who's the scripty?" And Leslie was like, "Ariel," and Cruccio was like, "Well, she doesn't speak the language, no?" And Leslie's like, "No." And Cruccio was like, "Do you know anyone who speaks the language?" And Leslie named me and asked Cruccio if I can be the scripty. And Cruccio was like, "Yeah, sure, I like him." And Cruccio said he likes me. So now I'm officially the scripty for next Wednesday scene. So that's that. I just stole Ariel's job so hard. So yeah, I actually have to go on time, like because of call time, and I literally need to show up next Wednesday. So yeah, incredibly fascinating stuff. Anyways, back to the moment. I and Leslie sat at the sitting area, right outside the interactional design classroom, and we sat together. Like at first, Leslie wanted me to be opposite of her at the table, but then she realized that if we want to do the script together, we should be sitting side by side. So we sat side by side. She's to my left, and it felt so nice to have her side by side. She was drinking a Monster Energy drink, and she also vaped. And I said I've never actually tried Monster Energy drink, and then she gave me the can. But at that point I never drank. I thought of like drinking it, but if it's any other girl, they would think it's gross that I'm drinking her saliva. So I didn't, right? But I did smell it. But anyways, she pulled out her laptop and pulled out her final draft, and we started typing. And it went really well, went really smoothly. We had so much, we really communicated well. We had a thing going. It was really, really nice. Yeah, fuck. We went on and on. I fixed her grammar issues. She asked me what's my TOEFL score, and I said I didn't take TOEFL. I took Duolingo. She asked me what's her Duolingo English test score, and I said 155 out of 160. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fixed her grammar issues and helped clarify some of the action lines. And then we figured out how to do a dual dialogue so that we could, add traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese. So so Michelle and Patricia, Michelle speaks in Cantonese and Patricia speaks in Mandarin. So every time it's in Cantonese, she basically copied from the translated dialogues I sent her, and she also translated herself for the Mandarin ones. And she really enjoyed it, and she said, man, I really need to buy you dinner at some point. And I'm like, ooh, okay, this is where the interesting things begin, and this is where I really want to talk about. So at some point I talked about, I said, also, like, every time I speak in Cantonese in front of Leslie like has an orgasm or something. Like, she's like, oh, and she like fangirls, which is so fucking cool. Like, I want Mary to fangirl over me, and Leslie doing that to me is just so, like, I'm so honored. She said she thinks Cantonese is so cool, and she wants it to be her third language, and that's kind of fucking insane because I want Mandarin to be my third language, and I want to learn it with her accent and also Ken's accent, aka Northern accent and Taiwanese accent at the same time, so that I can change my accent like depending on what's the situation and where I am. That was sort of like my plan, but it went really well. And like she tried to speak in Cantonese, like she actually tried. She saw my words and she actually tried, and it was so like clunky. And she's always like and it's so funny hearing her try to say Cantonese. It's so funny. But yeah. At some point I talked about how she's the most northern girl I've ever met, and then she told me she also knows another Chinese girl in Film 31, like the second half Film 31, the same one that Connor's in, also from China, I believe, also from the north or something. So that's pretty interesting. And then I told her, oh yeah, there's a guy from Macau, and she's like, Connor, right? And I'm like, oh, you know him? And she said, yeah, oh, he hung out with, and she's like, oh yeah, he hung out with Pepper, and they were together for a while. And I'm like, really? In my head, I'm like, I thought she meant like they actually hung out recently, just the two of them. And the moment I said, really? How do you know Connor? And Leslie pulled out his Instagram, and I'm like, you're stalking him? And Leslie's like, yeah, I'm stalking him. There's that. So, yeah. fuck me, my God. Okay, I'm gonna continue. So the moment I said that, Leslie's like, oh. The moment I said that, Leslie's like, oh, you have a crush on Pepper? You love Pepper? And we changed the topic a little bit, but then I wanted to talk about love. I think it's a good way for us to get into deep conversation, right? Um, so I mentioned it again. You're saying Connor hung out with Pepper? And she's like, oh yeah, they were here in CMD. I know exactly what she's talking about. That one time Pepper and Connor studied Film 50 together at CMD on the top floor. I was here too. I saw them both. I spied on them. I took a peek. So Leslie saw them too. And then Leslie asked me again, wait, do you love Pepper? Like, do you have feelings for her? And then I looked at Leslie and I just told her. I told her exactly what I've been rehearsing in my mind, by the way. Like, I've rehearsed this 5 times already. 5, 6 times. I said, Leslie, can I trust you? Please don't tell anyone about this. Please do not. And she's like, sure. And I said, I and Pepper aren't that close anymore. And she was disappointed. She thought, wait, you two are in a relationship? You two are dating? And I said, no, we're not that close anymore. And she's like, what? What happened? Like, as friends, or like not too close anymore, as in like you two are not in a relationship anymore? And I said, no, we never had a relationship. At some point, we just stopped talking. And then she asked me, oh, but like Pepper invited you to her place, right? Like December last year? And I said, yeah, December 15, 2022. And she's sort of impressed that I remember the date. I remember all the fucking dates, man. I said, yeah, just something happened. We're not that close anymore. And Leslie then asked me, oh yeah, I told Leslie like, oh, I went back to Japan. I went to Japan, I went back to Hong Kong, and I wanted to test if I miss her and I have feeling for her. Turns out I don't. I felt nothing. So that's that. And I said it's not easy for me to love someone. And then Leslie said, wait, have you ever loved anyone in middle school or high school? Turns out in China, or at least where she's from exactly, it's 6 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So it's still different. I thought she would be able to relate, because in Hong Kong it's 6, 6, 4. So apparently Hong Kong is kind of like an anomaly. Like, I don't know about Korea. I've never asked a Korean. Oh, by the way, that Korean guy, he like asked me from Instagram. So, hey, is he the actual first Korean to follow me? I don't know. But she knows Alba. She knows Nikki to Thai. She doesn't know Pepper. I thought he would. But anyways, I digress. And I said, I loved one person. That's it. And I told her how, everything that happened in my school life felt like a dream. And she's like, me too. Like, yeah, I feel that way too. And so we're in a very, while we were writing dialogue for a Wong Kar-wai inspired scene, we're also having a very Wong Kar-wai-esque conversation in real life, which is so goddamn beautiful and intense and dreamy, and I love it. Yeah, and we started talking about love, and at some point I realized, because I actually planned to ask her something today, and that is, hey Leslie, I have some questions, not for the script, but for you. I think I've never asked you this. What is your ultimate end goal in the film career? Sort of like a more personal question. Turns out we're already talking about love. We're already deep down, like way deeper. So I actually asked my question, but it just felt like a little shallower question. So it's funny how we're already way deeper. And this is the climax of the day, I think. So Leslie got really personal with me, and she said all these things. She said, what's the meaning of my life? I'm still trying to figure out what's the meaning of my life. And She asked me. She said she wants to commit suicide. She wants to kill herself, and she asked me if I want to kill myself and will I kill myself. And I said maybe. And she's not phased by it at all. She's not like, oh wow, you're like different. No, she's just not phased by it. And and this is the climax of the day. She told me how she doesn't have a lot of friends back in China. But there's this girl that she hangs out with all the time. She's hanging out with her for like 4 years now. Every time she goes back to China, she hangs out with this girl, but they never speak because she's lonely. She doesn't talk. Leslie's lonely. Leslie doesn't talk. So they just hang out. They just walk on the streets together. They eat food together and they don't say a word. They just want company. The last time Leslie went back, it was winter of 2020, between 2022 to 2023, right? I think it was January this year, actually. And one day they had dinner, and the dinner went for 4 hours. So at that point, I already thought, wow, that's a very Wong Kar-wai thing. That's such a dreamy, artsy thing to do with someone. I want to do that too with someone. I want to have a special relationship with someone like that, you know, and not just close, but also close in an alien, dreamy way, in an artsy way. And then Leslie said she had dinner with her for 4 hours, and they started talking about their minds out. They started talking about their personal lives and how they think. And Leslie found out that apparently they hung out for 4 years, but that was the first time Leslie found out who she really is and how she really thinks. And Leslie found out that they're actually really similar. They actually think alike. And Leslie had a good time having dinner with her. She gave her a necklace, and Leslie brought it back to the US. And that is when Leslie starts to think, maybe she's in love with her. And a couple days ago, the necklace broke, and Leslie was really sad about that. But the more Leslie separated from this girl, the more she realizes that she's in love with her, and she just hopes that she comes here to USA and they could move to another city and live a normal life forever. And fuck. Fuck. So she's in love with someone else. Or so she thinks. And the issue is, coming from her mouth, I actually rooted for them. Like, it's such a beautiful story. The necklace, the little green stone, little emerald necklace, and she broke it and she just really wants her. That longing, it's such a beautiful fucking story. Why does it have to be that way, you know? Why does reality have to be that way? And they still text each other. And recently, and I thought, oh, okay, Leslie's bi, but that girl's straight. Turns out that girl recently texted Leslie saying that she's starting to think she's also gay. And that they want each other, maybe. I was just zoned out. I was playing with my jacket. The little strings on my jacket. I didn't know how to react. I couldn't even look at her face. Why does she have to be in love with someone else? So yeah, that's that. Now, what I do really love about Leslie is that her idea of love is very vague, because she said she doesn't want to be with someone forever. She's gonna die alone anyways, so she doesn't want to. She's not the type of girl who would want to marry someone and be with them forever and bear their children or whatever. She doesn't care about that. She just wants to be with someone, move on, be with another person, move on. That's like her thing. And I respect that. Me personally, I would like to have someone and it's like stable, because that's just the plan, you know. But I respect that she has a very vague idea of love. And also, again, her story is really beautiful. That's such a beautiful fucking story. I don't want her to be in love with anyone else, but I also feel so bad for her now. Um, yeah. And I also mentioned Theo, and Leslie said she had a crush on Theo. Do you know that? And I sort of nodded, but I don't want to say I know, so I said, tell me more. And she actually told me how she confessed to Theo on a bus after the shoot of the dance in the PAC. That was way back in October last year. And Theo and Leslie had a crush on Theo for like a month, and that's it. See, it was so high stakes. Like fall in love with another girl who is not one of your own, not one of your kind, and doesn't speak your language. And she also came to USA in 2019, so she's in a way different position than Pepper. And it's such a huge risk. I feel like falling in love with people in general is such a huge risk because they have so many. There are so many other parts of their lives that you just don't know, and yeah. Fuck. But yeah, again, it's not a complete defeat. I would like to say that I'm completely defeated, you know, that there's no, all hope is shattered. But because Leslie's view of love is so vague and so hazy, um, it's, um, also she has a letterbox. But also she, we saw a little board, like a little clipboard, beside outside the door of the classroom, and it says, "What do you expect to see in June from student projects?" And she said, "Crucio's death, Crucio's funeral," and then she asked me, "What do you want to see?" And I thought for a while, and I said, "I don't know, a natural disaster." And I said, "It's the end of the world. It's called ends and means." And Leslie laughed, and she said, "It's a good joke." The girl I like laughed at my joke. And then at some point, I got really comfortable and I was in doggy style position, like with my knees and my hands on the chair, and it was really comfortable. And it looks like I'm a teddy bear with my hoodie on. And then, of course, Michelle shows up out of nowhere, wearing all black with sunglasses. That was such an awkward moment, like the most convenient moment. And at that point, it was near the end of our meet, and I and Leslie, we were basically going through the entire script. We were acting. So she speaks Mandarin and I'm speaking Cantonese, and we're talking to each other. And I, like in the script, I said, "I want to sleep with you because you're such a beautiful girl. I want to fuck you," like as in. And I'm saying it like as a part of a script, and she's saying it part of a script as well. And again, it's just so fucking Wong Kar-wai. It's so intense and dreamy and real and like allegorical. It's like fuck. And then also apparently there's a scene in Chungking Express about like April 28th, Friday. And that's the day I had a conversation with Leslie. Fuck, like this is meant to be. This is literally, it's all script. My life is scripted. But yeah, also Leslie spoke to me about life. And again, I was sort of teasing her, I'm like, I don't want to reveal everything about myself like all at once. I want to do it slowly. And I said, "Oh, I want to tell you something, but I can't tell you because it's so dramatic for you." And she's like, "Oh, it's dramatic? Tell me. I love dramatic. I am dramatic." And I said, and at the end I did tell her, and that is, "Do you know why I live?" "Because I'm the detective." And she's like, "Okay." And I said, "I think I treat my own life like a movie, and the main character is the detective, and I care about what happens in the next scene. That's why I keep living." So that's that. So we had a really sweet moment. Yeah, and then she laid down. She got comfortable and she laid down. It was so nice being with her. It's so nice. It's so fucking nice. Like, the last girl I loved, I couldn't even say hi. I couldn't even say hey to her. And then the next girl I really like sat beside me and like we talked. It's so nice. And if it ends here, if this is how it ends, it's okay. Because I think I already like had such a breakthrough, like from who I was, like 4 or 5 years ago, like the kind of loser that I was. Till now, you know, me, like speaking to the girl and like, I feel like I improved so much. And it's so funny because I told Leslie that, and I said it in almost a lying way because I told her that I thought I couldn't love anyone. I thought I'm aromantic. After Mary, and then pandemic happened, I thought I couldn't love anymore because my brain couldn't let me. And Leslie looked at me and she was really like genuine about it. She looked at me and she said, "You'll find someone. Trust me, you will find someone. That someone is you, bitch. That someone is you." You know, do you think she would sense that I have something towards her? Do you think she sensed that? Well, anyways, we walked away from CMD. Michelle was probably pretty pissed after Leslie booed her away. Kuchi also showed up suddenly. I don't know where, but he probably didn't see us. But yeah, as we walked away from CMD, you know, Kuchi, Leslie asked me, "Oh, where's Michelle and Betsy?" Also, apparently there's a movie night tonight at CMD, but they canceled it. RIP. And then we continued walking. It was like me walking Pepper to the bus stop, but we walked at a CMD together, and the sky was cloudy, and it was cold, and it was such a terrible weather. And then she said she's 18 and she doesn't know what to do with her life. And I said, yeah, you know, I don't really care. When I was 18, I cried. When I turned 18, I cried. She's gonna skateboard to Crystal's house because Crystal's cooking dinner for her, which is great. I'm so happy for her. She's eating good food at least. And then I took a bus back home. I wanted to walk with her further, and she's like, "Oh, you're walking this way?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I mean I can walk with you a little bit." And she's like, "No, but like bus number 1 is like over there." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah. I mean I'll see her again tomorrow anyway, so you know, fuck it. What's the difference?" So I just took out my wallet, and as I'm taking out my wallet, she's like, "You're taking out your glasses?" And I'm like, "No." So I left, and I listened to Radiohead, nothing but Radiohead, and Coldplay's Spies, and I felt like crying, and I just cried for her. So that's fucking great. I never cried for Pepper, but I cried for Leslie. That means I truly love her. That means I truly love her. If I can cry for a girl, you know. But she probably has a very different view on love. Like, to her, it's not as intense or dramatic. Love is just a feeling, you know. Again, it's so fucking Wong Kar-wai. Love is just a feeling. God, I want to cry again. I'm thinking of In the Mood for Love and how, like, our meeting was like one of the scenes. You know, the scene where Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung were like talking about their martial arts novel, and they were both writing it, and then they were like talking, and oh my God, why am I living in a Wong Kar-wai film? Oh God damn it! I'm cursed. I'm so cursed. And then I couldn't tell her I love her. She doesn't love me, probably. I don't know. I wouldn't say she definitely doesn't love me. I would say here's the thing. She doesn't even know me that well yet. At the end of the day, I don't know her that well. She doesn't know me that well. We do know each other more so than the general people. Than the general other people would know me, but she doesn't know me that well yet. Like, I could reveal so much more to her. And I think she could reveal so much more to me. But we're both kind of fucked. We're both very dramatic, sad, depressed people who just lives in a movie, you know. Again, and she constantly impresses me with her answers, and I told her, like, I sometimes, like, every day I think I live in a movie, and she said, well, everyone lives in a movie. Like, the most basic answer is, well, okay, you're crazy. And the more advanced answer is, well, oh, me too, I think I'm in a movie too. The most, like, high IQ answer is, like, well, everyone's living in a movie. You know? Yeah, she just constantly, like, impresses me with her answers. Whereas Pepper constantly disappoints me. Yeah. Yeah, her story with that other girl's really beautiful. If she doesn't, like, if she tells me that she doesn't love me and whatever, that's fine. Like, but don't make me lose for some other idiot. Like, have me lose to that girl. Like, please. Because that's a very beautiful story. Yeah, I'm gonna cook myself some rice and beef and whatever. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna see her again tomorrow, by the way. And it's not like the absolute end for me. Like, there's so much more going on. There's so much more that's gonna happen. Leslie wants to have dinner with me. Like, she invited me out for a quote unquote date before I could. To be fair, Pepper said the same thing to me, but Pepper never, like, held her promise. And there's so much more. Like, next Wednesday I'll see her. Next Monday or Tuesday I'll be seeing Leslie again for the rehearsal, for the real-time rehearsal, for her scene. And then on Thursday I'll see her again. Next Friday I'll probably see her again. I don't know. But we'll be seeing each other a lot more, which is so nice. Fuck. Alright, time now is 11:26 p.m. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm actually not that emotionally affected by this. I mean, sure, I feel really sad and dejected. While I was cooking, the broccoli, also, it's rice, broccoli with garlic, and then beef. But then I thought this is a very plain meal, so I also cooked myself a sort of a spring onion omelet. While I was cooking, Michael from Colombia came back with Candace, and he's like, "What's up? What's up? How are you feeling?" And I don't want to say good, so I said tired. And I said from my class, and he stood for a while. He stood there for a while, and he's like, "Stressed out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a bit." That's all I could answer, man. Yeah, I'm surprisingly not that emotionally affected by this, because I think that's partially because today's not a total defeat. I think the fact that I get to sit with her and talk to her about shit and life and, like, purpose of life and suicide and, like, our love lives and whatever. It's just so awesome and beautiful and amazing, and I just thought it's something that I'm really happy about. So, and also, like, I say if it all ends now, but it's not gonna end now. In fact, I still think I and Leslie's relationship are in its beginning, early stages. Still, like, we're gonna see each other tomorrow to watch Iran together. I'm gonna sit beside her, hopefully, for 3 hours straight. And then I'm going to frigging, see her again maybe next Monday or Tuesday to do the rehearsals. Next Monday I'll be working for her as a scriptie. Next Thursday she'll be showing up in for ends and means drill. Friday I may not go to college next Friday, but you get the idea. I'm gonna see her more often, and maybe Crystal will invite me to her house and we'll have dinner together, and we'll watch more movies together. We'll hang out more, hopefully, in the future, in the summer. Even after college ends, I feel like, given that so many people are going back to their homes in the summer, all but going back to Hokkaido, Pepper going back to Hong Kong, you know, Ken going back to Taiwan. I am she are staying. Maybe we could hang out more. Maybe we could finally experience something. So we're pretty much still in our early stages. Also, again, like because Leslie's view of love is so vague, it's just because she said she thinks she's in love with her isn't absolute. For me, it's kind of absolute. You either love someone or you don't. If you kind of have feelings, but it's not really romantic, then it's not considered love. Like for me, love is a very absolute thing, and for me, it's Mary and Leslie. That's the only two people I've ever loved. And she, yeah, because of how vague and hazy love is to her, she can have feelings for someone, but it doesn't really mean jack shit. Realistically, if she feels lonely now, um, she could move on from that girl. That's true. And also because she doesn't think in long term. Like maybe she could be with me for a while, which is a really fucked up thought, but you know, might as well. And also, she had to have a 4 hour long dinner with the girl to find out that they're actually like minded. Um, and she also told me that she had a 3 hour long phone call with the girl. I've never had a phone call with Leslie. So maybe I should do that more often. I should have phone calls with her. Um, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, Leslie doesn't know me super much, but I think after today, she knows me a lot more. And I think after today, I know her a lot more as well. Also, another side funny story, I guess, is Justin. He really is so fascinated by Cantonese. He keeps speaking to me in Cantonese in a broken accent and like baby Cantonese, and he even wrote his own Chinese name on the whiteboard. I asked him if he could write his own name. He said, "Yeah, sure." And he wrote his own name, and I wrote mine. And then we fucking found out that we use permanent markers. So we immediately found this alcohol cleaner, and we wiped the whiteboard so hard to wipe away our names, especially my name. I wrote my full ass name on there, which is so funny. But yeah, you know. Again, I'll be seeing Leslie tomorrow. Also, Leslie just texted me saying that you know, she made some changes to the script. She wants me to translate it. So very much I'm still with her, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I guess the emerald necklace breaking, you know, the other girl, her necklace breaking is like symbolic, hopefully symbolic, to her needing to move on. Um, and also she's so unpredictable, so I don't know, maybe her mind changes, but maybe I'm just too optimistic. Maybe I'm just making up excuses for myself. Um, but yeah, of course it's not gonna be easy. It's not. Of course, it's like reality is not gonna make this easy for me. Um, and again, that's a more positive way of saying it. Um, the truth is, like, if Leslie, I just don't think she'll ever really like me back because I'm so goofy, such a goofy guy.